How's it going, everybody? Rybread here today, and we are going to be continuing our Buffalo Sabres GM mode. Now, I did do a few tweaks on the lines. I just put Jake McCabe in for Josh Georges on penalty killing and made Jack Eichel the extra skater. So I really didn't do much after last video. I simulated the most of the preseason, and now we're ready to start the regular season. So let's hold the team meeting that gets us going. Hopefully, the season simulation will be good to us. I'm hoping to be on the cusp of the playoffs so that when it comes time for the trade deadline, that we can actually, make a trade or two to get some good players in on this team, and then make a playoff push. But if we're gonna have to tank by then, we'll have to trade away guys like Ennis and Molson, and we'll have to just try and shoot for that bottom spot and get Nico Hischier or Nolan Patrick or Liljegren, the defenseman. All right, so the team meeting. Demanding usually works, so let's try that one. All right, except for Eichel and Kane don't like to be demanded. That's fine. Most of the team got a boost anyway, so they'll all be happy, and by performance, maybe they'll all go up. One player I want to have a really good simulation with is Sam Reinhart, because I know he can grow. He is currently, I believe, an 83 overall, but I've seen in past seasons that he grows quite a bit. Hopefully he'll become that second or first line winger that we need. Maybe Kane can grow to be a bona fide first line winger, and then Reinhart can grow with Eichel. Now, I think Eichel is going to outgrow Reinhart because of potential and age, but I think Sam Reinhart has really good potential to grow. Now, I was reading some of your comments after last video, and you said that you guys would like to see the top six stay, and then Risto stay as well, but most of the other guys are fair game. I think that the one guy I would be okay with getting rid of is Tyler Ennis, just because I don't think he's not going to grow, and I think he's hit his cap at 83, so at most he's going to be a third line winger. If I could package him with Molson, that'd be a lot of cap off our cap hit, so that we could go sign somebody in the offseason. But I don't know what we would get back that would be in a tanking situation, boys, if I was going to trade away Ennis and Molson. And we'd probably get maybe a fourth round pick back or something low, a low end pick or some prospects. Another guy that I'm okay with trading away is Cody Franson or Josh Georges. Again, not guys that are going to get you all too much. So we don't have a lot of trading assets on this team, but we'll make do with what we got. All right, so let's go ahead and get this season simulation started. Now, I'll probably end up going about a month or so at a time. I'm thinking to get to like Christmas in this video, get to New Year's, see how we do, and then we'll assess from there. All right, so we got Game 1 versus Montreal. Let's simulate to the end of the month. Now, Montreal, I believe, in real life is one of those teams that we'll just do best lines down there in the AHL. Is one team that comes and goes as Carey Price does. They're currently leading the Atlantic, but I definitely think, oh shoot, Alex Nylander has been injured with a sore foot. All right, we'll go best lines. Zemgus Girgensons fractured his jaw. Okay, that means we got to call somebody up. Now, these injuries are happening far too frequently for my liking. We've had 3 injuries and only played 1 game. There we go. We beat Edmonton back in the win column. Calgary. Okay, that's a point. These are the kind of points that you need to get if you're going to be a playoff team, because points are easier to come by earlier in the season. And I'd like to be in a position to, all right, I've got to go to roster moves and send Cal O'Reilly back down. Points earlier in the season are the kind of points you want to get because they're easier to get. Teams aren't, trying as hard to get the playoff spot. I'm not saying that teams in the NHL don't try, but I'm saying after everyone makes their trades and whatnot, everyone's always more likely to go a little bit harder at you, and especially with teams fighting for playoff spots then. I'd rather be in a playoff spot instead of having to fight to get in one. So we'll go to the QMJHL, scout some defensemen for a month. I think that's where this team is especially weak, is in the defensive core. We don't really have a lot of good defensive prospects. I know Brendan Gooley is looking good, and then obviously we have Risto and McCabe, but not a lot of young players for the Sabres. And then forward-wise, Nylander's probably the only guy I'm really looking at for coming up in a year or so. So we go 3-4-1 in our first month. I know it's pretty early, but we'll go ahead and take a look at all the stats. And then first I'll take care of this player meeting. We look to be second to last in our division. What have you done so far, Eichel? He's got 1 goal and 2 assists in, I believe it was 8 games. So I definitely would like to see more out of Jack. I'll calm him because I tried demanding earlier, but he didn't respond very well to that. So we'll try calming now. All right, so Jack Eichel, boys, likes number 2. I got to remember that from here on out, because a lot of times demanding is the best one for the team, but not always for certain players, because I know Evander Kane and Jack Eichel lost morale when I did the demanding at the team meeting at the beginning of the year. So, yeah, we'll check out the stats really quickly. Ryan O'Reilly leading the team in points. I like to see that just because Ryan O'Reilly's our first-line center, and he's still only 25 with medium elite potential, so he can still grow a little bit. I'd like to see him get up to a 90, perhaps by the end of the season. Okposo is probably going to stay where he is and just fluctuate based on morale. And then Kane, so our first line, boys, is leading the team in points. Then Johan Larsson is leading the team in points. I think I have him down on the 3rd or 4th line, and he's hot so far this season. Risto then has 4 points. Ennis has 4. See, Eichel with 3, and then Reinhardt only has 3. So that second line could definitely use something. I don't know if I want to maybe move Ennis up to the first line and then bring Kane down to the second line. Maybe that'll help spark a little bit of production between Eichel and Reinhardt. We'll go with defensemen. How are the defensemen performing? So McCabe and Franson don't have a point. Risto's got 4. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists. And then, we're getting some goal scoring from our defensemen. That's kind of nice to see. Oh yeah, how are our forwards plus minus? That's the one thing I forgot to check. So we are, when you're a losing team, you're usually going to have bad plus minus. And oh my God, that third line is just killing us. Now I don't know if Larson is on the third line or fourth line, but if these are our third line guys, Gergensons and Molson, I know are on the third line. They have terrible plus minus so far in the season. We'll go check out the goalies. How are Lehner and Nielsen doing? Oh my God, Nielsen, goal against average. Although he has only played a couple games, but it is still a little bit early to check out stats and whatnot after 1 month. But I just kind of wanted to see how this team was trending. Maybe shake something up with the line change. I'll go into the lines here and see what I want to do. Yeah, Larson on that fourth line is doing really well, so I'm going to leave him down there. And then maybe switch Kane and Ennis. We'll see how this goes for another month. I'm hoping to get Eichel and Reinhardt, have bigger point production, because Ryan O'Reilly, Kane, and Okposo are all having just fine seasons for now. But I'd like by the end of November for the team to look a little bit better if we're going to try and make a playoff push. There we go. So after the line change, we got a win. 2-1 loss to Toronto. Toronto's a team that I'm personally jealous of as a Sabres fan because they started the rebuild after we did, and they're much farther ahead of us right now. So yeah, we got 2 wins so far. We're 2-2 since the line changes. Jake McCabe, injured with a sore shoulder, out until November 22nd. All right, boys. I'll go in here. Go call up a defenseman from in the system. Oh, and perfect. Falk got hurt, so I can't call him up. I'll call up Fadoon. He's a guy I personally like. I like how he handles the puck. He's a smart player with the puck on his hand. Okay, an OT win against Ottawa. Those are divisional points. We need to beat division and conference opponents. and just get points where we can get them. So that's 3 points out of a possible 4 against New Jersey. I'll take it. And we put in 9 on New Jersey. Lost to St. Louis. Tampa's 9-9. We got shut out by them. All right. Pittsburgh's coming up next. I'm gonna go look at the rest of the team. We got a player meeting. Locker room chemistry's up at 82%, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, go down to player morale here because somebody wants to talk to me. What do you want, Kane? Oh, apparently he's been doing pretty well on the second line there. We'll calm him because I remember he doesn't like being demanded either. There we go. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to go check out how, in the few games that Eichel, Kane, and Reinhart have been together, how they're doing. So O'Reilly's still leading the team in points. He's almost a point per game. Kane's now second. He jumped Okposo. So Ennis on that first line isn't doing very well, but now Eichel's got 11 points. He had 3 points after 8 games, and then in 9 games he's put in 8 points with Kane. Reinhart now has 8 points, so he's put in an extra 5 points. So maybe I'll try putting Reinhart on the first line and putting Ennis back on that second line because Ennis's production has dropped off significantly, and Okposo has been, I believe Okposo was up here at 2. I know he's only 1 point away from it, but we'll shuffle the lines just a little bit more. I think let me go back and check the third lines plus minus because I think they're killing us. Ennis is killing us. He's a -9. We can't be having that. Yeah. O'Reilly was actually close to even earlier in the season, but now Ennis is just doing awful. Maybe I consider moving a guy like Molson up to the second line, put Reinhart on the first line, so we'll have Kane, Eichel, and Molson. See how that one works? Because Molson is down here. He's a plus. So that third line corrected itself. It's now up to a plus. So yeah, we'll see. See, Molson's now, he's been putting in points, so maybe I'll move him up. Drop Ennis down to the third line because he's not performing well at all for us. So we're hovering around 500 right now, it looks like. Only 4 points out of a playoff spot. I know it's early, but I'd like to be in that playoff spot right now instead of chasing it. It always feels better to have people chasing after you versus chasing after somebody. Now Reinhardt's up to an 84 and Eichel's up to an 87. I don't know if that's because of morale or if that's natural growth. We'll switch these guys here, and then we'll see how it goes from here on out. Gergensen's went up as well. As far as I can see, I think Larson went up by 1. I thought, or maybe Delorier did. We'll check out our defense. Yeah, Fadoon is in there now because McCabe is out. So let's see. Jake McCabe. Okay, it looks like he's okay to come back again. So we'll slot him in there for Fadoon. Yes, that's fine with me. Jake McCabe is healthy again. Because I want him to grow. I know he's only got high top 6 potential, but I'd like to see him become a top 4 defenseman. Goalies, excuse me. Laner, 86, Nielsen. So we'll go check out the progress reports because that's easier. That'll tell me exactly who grew because of what. So we're still scouting the QMJHL for defensemen because I think defenseman is where this team is weakest because Josh George's is 32. So yeah, Reinhart and Eichel have both grown. They're the only ones that have grown, and I like to see that a lot because they've had a really good month, and so far they've had a decent season. I'm thinking about putting Bogosian as a 4th defenseman and bringing up Kulikov up to the top 2 just because he's a lefty, and I kind of like to have that left-right pairing. So I'll go ahead and do that right now and see if maybe Kulikov and Bogosian pick their game up a little bit by flipping roles. We got 2 righties. That's the thing. Bogosian should be with George's, and then Franson should be with McCabe. We'll see how that works. And then if we start to have a really bad little bit, I'll flip the defensive pairings back to the way they used to be. Hopefully nobody gets hurt so I don't have to go best lines or even have to go in and edit the lines myself. All right, let's keep going, boys. We're only 4 points out of the playoff spot. I'm really hoping to make the playoffs this year. I don't want to be a one and done if we do make it, so hopefully our young guys will grow. But I know guys like Nylander will grow pretty significantly, so he might be a guy we call up towards the end of the season here. All right, so we'll just finish off this month. We'll finish off November. Let's see if we can beat Pittsburgh. There we go, 3-1. Eric Cornell. I think he's also a guy that could be like a top 9. I want to say 9, top 9. We'll scout defenseman for 1 month. Again in the WAHL. Oh, Sam Reinhart got a concussion. Oh, God. That's not good. So we'll move Kane back up here. I guess we'll move Ennis up. And then I guess we'll call somebody up from the AHL to fill in that spot. Because I don't think Delorier is going to be a good third-line player. I like him on the fourth line there. William Carrier. We could call up Alex Nylander, but I don't know if I want to do that because he's so young and I don't want to ruin his growth. So we'll call up William Carrier, medium top 9 forward sniper. So maybe he can put some good minutes in for us down there on the third line. I'll just go best lines and then just rearrange everything. So we'll put Molson up there on the third line, switch Gianta and Carrier. Because that fourth line is actually not doing too bad for us. I like the production that they're giving us. So yeah, we'll go back here. And then Georges, and then Georges and France, and that's right. All right. AHL, we'll just do best lines. After this month, I'll check how Nylander's grown at all. Ooh, a 6-3 loss. Let's see if we can beat Detroit. Another loss. Well, at least Sam Reinhart's back. I'll go ahead and send Carrier down because that was basically pointless. That frustrates me when a guy's out for like 2 games. It's very frustrating to me. Oh, right, we want Kane on the first line, but then we want to put Molson with Reinhart and Eichel. So they actually scratched Gianta and left Carrier in. I'm going to go check how Gianta's been doing this season, if we want to scratch him or not. Marcus Foligno has been injured with a bruised hand. So yeah, these injuries keep coming left and right. Yeah, we'll just edit best lines. I feel like this entire video I've been in this line screen showing you guys like just me editing the lines is basically this video. Yeah, we'll put Reinhardt on the wing, on the right wing as he's listed here. Defense, we got to go do this all over again. If you guys think there's too many injuries, let me know, and I can turn them down even more. I didn't want to turn it down too much and then have no injuries. Yeah, we'll keep going to the end of the month here. It's 1 more game, and then I can assess everything. 9, 10, and 2. That's about. If we win here, I'd like to win here. Oh my God, they're all out for just 1 game, and it's very frustrating. I can cut this part out of the video if you guys don't like me doing this. I apologize because there's so many injuries. I did try and turn it down. If you guys saw the last video, I toned it down just a little bit. 10, 10, and 2, that's what I like to see. 500, let's see if we're in the playoffs. No, we're out of the playoffs by 3 points. We'll have to go check the wild card race because now we're getting into the thick of it in the season. We've played 20-some games already. Let's go check out the stats before we check out the growth. Ryan O'Reilly is leading the team in points. He's 20 points in 22 games here. Evander Kane is doing well back up on that first line. Eichel, now 3rd in the team on points on that second line, so hopefully he'll be growing. Ristolainen with that high elite potential. 14 points as a defenseman I'm pretty okay with. Matt Molson is doing well on that second line. Reinhardt's a guy I'd like to see a little bit more production out of. I'm not sure why he's not producing. He's on the line with Jack Eichel, so he should be producing, because Eichel's up there at 16. I mean, 12 points isn't bad. He's on pace for, I think, 12 goals this season, and then 36 assists, if I did the math right. So that's on pace for about a 48-point season. I know it's only after like 21 games, but 48 points. I'd like to see a lot more out of Reinhardt. I'd like to see him up around the 60 mark. Larson is doing well. Gianta, Delorier. So that fourth line, boys. Tyler Ennis is also underperforming, and Gergensons. So these are two guys that I could even just ship out. These three guys right here are underperforming for me. He's a medium top 9 forward, getting third line time and penalty killing time. So, only having 9 points in 20 games. We'll see if what you guys feel. Let me know down in the comments section if I should get rid of guys like Ennis and Gergensons just due to their lack of production. Because most players don't make a jump unless they're growing. And I don't foresee Gergensons growing, and Ennis has already hit his potential at 83. So I think we're overpaying here for a third line scorer. $4.5 million for a third line scorer is something I would like off the books. He's a -8, so he's not helping out much on the defensive end. Gergensons -2, he's got 9 points. He's doing all right. He's got 1 year left, so maybe we hold on to Gergensons and then re-sign him as depth again. Maybe he'll be a fourth line center if we can get somebody in free agency, or you guys let me know. Should I trade him away at the deadline? Since he'd be a rental player for some team and could even grow at 22 years of age. He's 83. He'll be a bottom 6 player for a playoff team maybe, if it's not us. And he's only got 1 year left, so we could even go after him in the offseason if nobody re-signs him. Foligno here, we just signed him to a 1 year deal, so you boys let me know as well if he's the kind of guy you want to keep. I mean, he's got 23 penalty minutes, so he's not very disciplined. Shooting percentage isn't bad at 20. Actually, that's pretty good at 20.8%. So maybe he's just not getting enough ice time to get the points. Maybe these three guys right here need more ice time. But I tried Ennis on that first line, and he didn't really do too much for us. Kulikov and Bogosian still down here. Carrier, when he came up, had a goal. So congratulations, Carrier, and your first NHL goal. Jake McCabe has no points in 18 games. He's done nothing in 18 games. That frustrates me. Well, as the defensive defenseman, I'd like to see him get at least an assist or two, but no goals, 16 shots. Not really growing either. He was an 80 at the beginning of the season, 80 now. Jake McCabe is very, very much disappointing my standards. Leonard here, 284, 906, so he's not doing all that well either. Anders Nielsen here. One guy that I have looked at as a goalie prospect to trade for is Calvin Pickard of the Colorado Avalanche. I've seen him grow pretty well in this game, but I don't think he's got a lot of trade value right now. So we'll go check that out really quick. If you guys don't want me to trade for somebody like Pickard, then let me know. I won't go ahead and do it right now. But okay, so he's medium starter at 24 years of age. I've seen him actually have medium elite potential, so maybe they toned his potential down. Not sure about that, but if you guys know of any good goalie prospects that I can trade for, obviously a guy like Murray or Vasilevsky would help, but they're also they've got pretty decent trade value, so we'd have to give something up in return. It's not like we could trade away Ennis and Molson for Matt Murray. Yeah, let's see. If I even wanted to. I doubt Pittsburgh is interested in this trade, but we'll just go ahead and throw it in there. Tyler Ennis, yeah, there's still a lot of space there. They'd have too few goalies, so maybe we could even just give them Lehner and Ennis. Do you guys think this is a good trade? Let me know. Because right now that kind of looks like it's going to go through. Because Murray is low elite potential. He's already better than Lehner, and he's 22. I mean, this trade looks really good for us. He's having a decent season. He'd easily help us make the playoffs more than Lehner, who's only got 1 year left on his contract. Only high starter potential, 86 overall, 25. He's just doing a little bit worse than Murray. He's only got 1 year left at 225, and then Murray's got 4 years left at 3.57 million. Shedding Ennis's cap too would help. He's the kind of guy that I guess they could slot in on their third or fourth line, because I know they have Sheary and Rust play on the first line, but maybe he could play another fast guy to play alongside Hagelin down there on the third or fourth line. This trade actually looks like I could get a pick back. So if this looks like something you guys would want me to do, or if it's, because I'm actually leaning towards doing it, but I would look more towards, yeah, this trade looks pretty even. I'll hold off on this trade, see how Ennis does, because I know you guys had mentioned you wanted to see Ennis stay, but I'm sure you guys wouldn't mind a second round pick and Matt Murray for Ennis and Lehner. Nielsen's a fine backup. He's been really doing poorly this season, but I don't think he's been getting enough time to do something. You know, he's not really had a good season for us. Well, that's just awful. Never mind. I tried to defend you, Nielsen, but those stats are just atrocious. Oh my God. At least he's only got 1 year, 1 million left. We're going to need to find a new backup goalie, although there's a couple goalies coming up in the system that have medium and low backup potential, so we'll have to see what they grow to in the offseason. But yeah, boys, if you that I can make that trade come trade deadline time, we'll make it maybe around the All-Star game, see where we are. If we want to give up Ennis because we're not a playoff team, give him to a playoff team and see where he goes from there. But we'll get through December here and get into January, and I'm pretty sure I'll end the video at about, probably on New Year's actually, so we have time to think what we want to do before the All-Star break, assess the situation here, and yeah, I'll just go ahead and get this one over with. Hopefully we can do better. 500 is not where I want to be. I want to be above 500. Okay, that'll help us tank if we're going to tank. We'll just go best lines because he's coming back on December 5th, so I won't bother with changing all the lines around. Oh, look, a win. Nice. Above 500, come on. Let's string a couple together here. That's 2 in a row with after that's another point though. I'm okay with that. There's 2 points in a shootout win. There snaps the point streak. Oh, so Reinhardt's happy because of recent individual performance. So is Nylander. Oh my God, we just got smacked by the Capitals. That one hurts. After going on a couple game win and point streak and then having it snapped by Edmonton. There we go. Another 2 points. Right now, tiebreakers I'm not too concerned about because I know regulation and overtime wins, but I'll take points when I can get them. And Gergensen's hurt now, so hopefully our guys don't get hurt. So that we can trade them. A guy like Ennis doesn't, get a concussion coming up here and then is out until after the trade deadline. Let's go scout forwards in the O real quick. This is basically where all the good prospects are going to come from. Because we all know who the top couple guys are. I mean, you can Google it. Top prospects NHL 2017 entry draft. But oh my God, the injuries are flying. Bogosian's out now too, and that must mean Kulikov went up. And there we go. It's a 4-game losing skid. If we can win these 3, it's going to make my decision really tough on what kind of team we are. Right now, I know we're not a playoff team. There's a shootout loss. If we can steal these 2 games versus Boston, then that would help. Nope, not going to happen. Actually, we'll just go here and sim one day. 14, 17, and 4. 14, 18, and 4. So, boys, it's looking like we're going to have to tank. We're down there at last place in the division. Toronto's just ahead of us by 2 points. So we'll just go ahead and check out the entire league real quick, how we're doing. So we're last in the NHL. So this is actually good. This makes my decision really easy. So boys, we're going to tank the season. We're doing this poorly already. Nothing's going to help bring us back. Guys like Molson and Ennis and Gergensons are fair game. Some of the defensemen are. Jake McCabe even. I don't see him growing very much. We'll check out the points. So O'Reilly and Kane and Okposo are leading the team in points. That first line doing well. Ryan O'Reilly's doing really well, actually. He's the only player above 30 points. Do we have any goal scorers above 10 goals? We don't really have a goal scorer on this team, boys. So I think that's what we're going to need. We're going to need to look for goal scorers. Maybe some prospects. I know the Sabres were talking about earlier in the season getting that guy from Vancouver, from the Utica Comets. I don't know what his name is, but I know he's a fairly good prospect. I think he's like a 70-something in this game. If you want to see me trade for him, I'm leaning towards that. I also that Matt Murray trade as a goalie for us. That would help us save our money. We wouldn't have to sign a guy like Ben Bishop if the Lightning let him go, or maybe Victor Hedman or Tyler Johnson are available in the offseason. That would help our team. I'm basically just going to try and poach the entire Lightning roster. But no, in all seriousness, if they let him go, I'd like to sign a guy like that. I think this team is close enough where we can get to the playoffs next season. I'd like to see our players still grow a little bit. Sam Reinhart's up to an 85 now, and his point production is really doing well. He gained morale because of, now he's a second-line forward. He was a third-line scoring forward at the beginning of the season, so that's nice to see. He gained morale due to recent individual performance, and then now apparently he's lost it. So he did well there, as you can see, November 25th and December 6th in that area. So towards the beginning of December, but towards the end of December, the whole team has been just playing so poorly. Plus minus, he's the only plus player that I can see. And then Larson and Delorier. And then Cal O'Reilly's even, but he doesn't play. He's down in Rochester. Josh Georges is a minus 13. So he is killing us. Him and Jake McCabe are just tanking. They're starting the tank. I guess they're just leading the tank for Nolan Patrick. Hopefully we can win the draft lottery. I'll do my best to see to tank. I don't want to give up too much because obviously we're still a young team with a lot of young players. So you don't want to trade away a guy like Sam Reinhart because you want to tank. So if we don't end up coming in dead last, towards the bottom, I'm okay with bottom 5. Now that they auction off the top 3 draft picks, I'd like to finish no lower than like 3 or no higher than 3 or 4. Because if 3 teams jump ahead of us, we draft 6 if we're in 4th, I believe, unless I'm doing that math wrong. But you guys know what I'm saying. I don't want to get pushed up the draft. I'd like to stay down as far as possible without sacrificing our players' growth. Now, Lehner here, 13, 13, and 2. Nielsen as a backup has not done well at all. 3.3 goal against average. He's still bringing it down, but it's still way higher than I would have liked to see. 2.73 for Lehner. 909 save percentage for Lehner. 897 for Nielsen. So they're not making a lot of saves for us. Lehner does have 1 shutout, but that's a null factor because we're just so terrible. Dead last in the NHL is not where I thought we'd be. But I guess when you're 14, 18, and 4, that's where you're going to be at this time of the season. I'll go ahead and show you the entire league stats, who's doing what. So Sidney Crosby is leading the NHL in points, just like he is in real life, or McDavid's up there in real life, but Crosby and Malkin, I know, are both up near the top. Followed closely by Patrick Kane, Tavares. Marchand is actually one that I'm not used to seeing. Marchand and Pasternak. Pasternak's up there. I could even try and acquire him. I know it makes no sense for Boston to get rid of Pasternak, but if they're gonna trade him away, because I know like the Penguins want to trade away Matt Murray, which doesn't make a ton of sense. I would rather trade away Fleury because you can get more for Fleury, but Murray is still gonna grow. So if you guys would like to see, I can only trade for players that teams want to trade away, or just mostly look for that, because I know like if they're not willing to give up anybody but 18-year-olds, I'm not going to want to make that trade. But if they've got like a younger 21-year-old who's got some potential, not too great, I can acquire them. Pasternak here, though, I think he's one of the building blocks in Boston for a couple of years to come now. To see Marchand and Pasternak both up there at the top of the league in points, as well as Kucherov and Tarasenko. Kucherov is above Stamkos, actually. Kucherov is outperforming him. He's a guy that I would have liked to have gotten, but he's got too high of a potential, and he's too young. He's too valuable for Tampa Bay to trade away. Panarin's up there, so there's another Ehlers as well. He's got that low elite potential. He's the kind of guy that I would like to see. I'd like to see Reinhart have these kind of points, although on a team that doesn't score and a team at the bottom of the league, you're not really going to have too many players up near the top here. O'Reilly's got 30 points in 36 games, or 33 or something like that. Or 36 points in 39. No, never mind. Just kidding. Patrice Bergeron. So that first Boston line, it must be Marchand, Pasternak, and Bergeron. So there's Stamkos and Stone. So there's who's leading the NHL in points. We'll go into goals. Tarasenko, followed by Kane. Ovechkin is down here. So he's Dylan Larkin too, another guy that is another foundation for another team that's rebuilding. I wonder where Detroit is in the standings, because he's got 29 points, but he's got 17 goals. So maybe he's producing for them and helping carrying the team. In assists, Brad Marchand is leading with Kyle Turris and Panarin and Kucherov all as well. So points. Erik Karlsson's is a point per game player, followed by Burns, who is close, and Letang, Suter, Drew Doughty. So this is what you'd expect to see. Goals-wise, Brent Burns is scoring the most out of the defensemen. I'm not going to check goalie stats right now. I don't think mid-season goalie stats are all that important. Anyway, for like league standings, it's nice to see who's putting up points in the NHL, but we'll go here. We got a couple player meetings. I'll take care of those, and then I'll check out the progress report. So Eichel and McCabe want to talk. Eichel, I need to be out on the ice more. I can't help the team when I'm not getting minutes. Oh, he's now an 88 overall, so he wants to be a first-line forward. Yeah, I might actually move him on the wing with O'Reilly. That might be a little bit risky, though. Put O'Reilly, Okposo, and Eichel on the same line. And then move Reinhart to center with Kane and Molson. That might stunt Reinhart, though, so I'm a little bit worried about that, but I don't want to piss Eichel off, because I know he's on the first power play. He's playing the point, I believe, on the first power play. I can go check after this. I think the team really, Jake McCabe, you don't think the team's been performing well? We're dead last in the NHL. Get your head out of your ass. Oh, I guess he likes to be demanded of. Maybe I just need to tell all these guys to get their head out of their ass. Delorier is a presence as well as Bogosian, so Eichel wants more playing time. I'm glad I saw that. I'll have to make some adjustments before the next video, because after this, I'm going to probably end the video. So if you guys have any suggestions for what I do with Eichel, I'll show you guys the lines here in just a second. So you guys can maybe make some suggestions down in the comment section of what to do with him. Maybe I give him more other time. So like 4-on-4, power play, penalty kill, maybe even put him on the penalty kill. So he's grown by 16, 15. Carrier actually grew a decent amount when he was up here. He's still up here, actually. So that's kind of nice to see. Medium top 9 forward. He's still really young, but he's growing, so that's nice to see. Ristolainen, there's only so much growing he can do. I mean, he's 22 high elite, but he's already an 88. So Larson has grown as well, which is surprising. And then Jake McCabe grew ever so slightly. And let's see if the goal... Yeah, Lehner, I think Lehner's actually going to stop at an 86. It maybe get to an 87 by the beginning of next season. But I see a guy like Matt Murray flying past him and becoming a 90 overall within a season and a half. So let's check out in the system. Vasily Glotov. I don't even know who this guy is, but he's got the AHL top 6 potential, so he's not important. Cliff Poo. So happy we have him because this has a lot of potential. If he can grow and become an NHL player instead of what his potential says, I'd love to see Poo on the Sabres. Brandon Hagel, AHL top. There we go. Now we got an actual NHL-bound prospect. Nick Baptiste, top 9 forward, grown decently. I don't like the fact that Nylander hasn't grown at all. He's not done any kind of growth, and that's a little bit concerning. Maybe he'll grow a lot in the off season. He could be a guy we call up towards the end of the season. Here, bring him up to Buffalo. Or is he in Buffalo? Did they call him up? Oh no. I got worried because I saw the Sabres thing behind him, and I was expecting to see Rochester or something. Anyway, having him be the least amount of growth that we've had, that's really concerning because he's low elite potential, so I'd like to see him get into the 80s so I can play him in the NHL. Maybe he'll have a good second half of the season and he'll grow, but maybe I'm going to have to call him up, put him on the 4th line, replace Gianta or Carrier. But Carrier is actually growing. He's outgrowing Nylander right now. So Cornell, yeah, so we got a lot of young prospects, but they're all AHL bound prospects except for Cornell, but he's hurt, of course. Gooley is growing. It's good to see because he's got medium top 4 potential. So he could, at 19 years old, we don't have him signed yet, I don't believe. I'll have to take a look. But he actually, I think we do have him signed, so his contract should be coming up soon, 2 years from now. I'd like to see him be NHL ready so we can see what we got out of him before we go ahead and give him a contract. So yeah, back to the Lions and the Eichel situation. So Eichel now wants more ice time. We could throw him on the first line with Kane, with something like that, and then move Reinhart here. But I don't know how well that'll work. I mean, it might help Reinhart to have 2 snipers on either side of him. Maybe he'll get more points because I know a guy like Kane is really producing. But then Eichel, O'Reilly, and Okposo could be a deadly combination. And that didn't really require a ton of finesse with the lines. Defensively, Bogosian's now up top here again. Oh, I know why. Oh, yeah, this is the power play. Basically the power play line would still be our first line. So I guess when I did best lines, it put Franson in there. I like actually having Eichel play the point with Risto here. And then we can put a guy like Tyler Ennis here. Maybe that's why he's not getting points, is because when I went best lines, it took him off of the power play. So this is what I'm looking at right now. Eichel down there. If you guys don't want to see Eichel on the first line, if you guys think that it would be better to have him down here on the second line, let me know. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.